Lake Commissioners. Yeah. Chicago Trust Bank? Okay, I can deal with that. Sure has given us a headache. Where's it come from? What's the name again? Charleston. Okay, thanks. Oh, Mr. Preston, you know that 950 surplus has been all the flapdoodle about?
Do I know that 950? What about it?
Well, I've got it.
What do you mean you've got it?
Well, it's this way, Mr. Preston. I figured that with everyone going up in smoke about it, only I could nail it down and wouldn't do me any harm with the governor. You see what I mean? And so last night I put in a few hours overtime.
Cut the build-up. What's on your mind?
Well, I solved the mystery, that's all. 5 wages checks, never been cashed, made payable to one of the lighthouse keepers.
You don't say. Which keeper?
Fellow by the name of Charleston.
Yeah? I'll see to it.
But you tell him who found him, Mr. Preston.
Sure, that's okay. Well, I've got that 950, Carter.
Holy smoke.
Lighthouse keeper by the name of Charleston hasn't cashed his wages checks. I sat up half the night before I got it.
I'll tell the chief right away.
You'll mention I found it.
Surely.
Yes, Carter?
I found that 950, sir. Keeper Charleston's paychecks.
Is that so? Good work, Carter.
I was determined not to let it beat me, sir. I got it just before dawn this morning.
I'll tell Mr. Campbell at once. He'll be delighted.
Thank you, sir.
You say the name was Charlesworth?
Charleston, sir.
Charleston.
Morning, Withers.
Good morning, Mr. Campbell. I'm glad to say that I've been able to trace that little discrepancy in the accounts.
Oh?
I find that for some reason one of the keepers has not been cashing his checks.
But why not?
Well, I've not yet had time to find out.
Well, which light is he on?
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Excuse me a moment, Mr. Campbell. Carter, what did I say was the name of that lighthouse?
What's that? Oh, yes. Hold on a minute. I have it right here.
Hold on a minute.
Hey, Jimmy, what light's Charleston on?
A Thunder Rock.
Thunder Rock.
Thunder Rock.
Ah, yes, that's right. According to my notes, Mr. Campbell, he's a Thunder Rock.
How many months are involved?
I think it's 5.
5? Tell Flanning I want him.
Yes, Mr. Campbell.
Thunder Rock. Fleming, when was your last inspection of Thunder Rock Light?
Well, I'll be there on Tuesday.
No, I said last, not next. You visit there every month?
I certainly do. Every month for the last 25 years.
How does he draw his pay?
Oh, I take a check to him each visit.
Oh, but why?
He says he likes it that way. He's got no bank anyways.
Sit down a minute, Fleming.
No, I'm okay.
How long is it since you took a relief to Thunder Rock?
5 months.
How's that?
Well, Charleston wanted to stay on.
Say, who is this fellow? Where does he come from?
He's an Englishman, friend of Streeter's.
Well, what's the matter with the man? Wanting to sit out there alone on that godforsaken rock? What's back of it?
I don't know. I tried to pick it out of him, but he just won't talk.
Flanning, it's my opinion you've no right to take such a risk.
It's my opinion, Mr. Campbell, we're damn lucky to get him. You know, Thunder Rock isn't a picnic to most people. Oh, damn it, keeper. They can't even be civil.
Bring the stuff off, will you, Jim?
Sure.
Charleston. Hundreds of friendly keepers in the service, and I get him. Maybe I haven't lived right.
Why don't you fire him then?
Because he's the best keeper I ever had. Look at that. Month after month, never a mistake, never an omission, never an item to question. I don't like it. I like a man to be a bit lazy, a bit inaccurate, or perhaps even a bit dishonest. I like a man to be normal. Oh, well, if he will go and hide himself, the only day of the month when he's got somebody to talk to, let him. Maybe I'm getting old.
The memory of the sailing ship Land O'Lakes, lost in these northerly waters of Lake Michigan, this light is dedicated.
Well, are they getting transferred soon?
On the night of May the 16th, 1849, the packet Land O'Lakes, out of Buffalo, bound for Milwaukee, encountered a northwest gale. 800 yards north of this spot, she struck a reef and foundered. All hands were lost, including Captain Joshua Stewart and 60 passengers, immigrants from the old world.
25 years on the lakes. It's long enough.
Turn friendly light across these forbidding waters. Guide the mariner on his storm-swept way. A hell of a fate.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
Not you, these 49ers. Pulled up their roots in the old world, gambled everything they had on the promised land. Got this far, 1 foot on the doorstep, then ended up on the bottom of the lake in the middle of the night. A hell of a fate.
Hey, be careful with that, can't you read? It's marked fragile.
Oh, yeah? Oh, it says it on the wrong side. What do we do with these?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Dump them anywhere. He'll only light the fire with them.
Hey, I thought these keepers always spent their lives reading.
You don't know this one. No newspapers, no books, no writing paper. If you ask me, he's getting out of touch.
You're dead right, Inspector. I wanted to keep in touch. What the hell would I be doing here?
Hello, Steve. No, Charlie. This is Jim Sales. He's taking over my job.
My way of thinking, the man owes it to himself to keep in touch.
I appreciate your point of view, Inspector, but I don't happen to share it, that's all.
He likes men normal, don't you, Inspector?
I like a fellow that cashes his paychecks. What do you do with them?
Have a drink.
Charleston, I don't mind telling you, you're a problem.
I think you'll find everything in order, Inspector.
I don't doubt it.
If you could produce one good, solid vice, you'd be doing old Flanning a real service. You know, something you're thoroughly ashamed of.
I'll think one up. No, thank you. Oh, come on. I get a chance just 1 day a month to do justice to a bottle. Don't obstruct justice.
Charlie, I want to pay you some of the money I owe you. What do you say it comes to?
I wouldn't know.
You have to take my word for it. I've got it all here, right from the start.
You got a match?
October 1930, Rio. You cabled me $300.
Put that thing away, will you?
July 34, another $250 to get me out of my hotel. December 35, Monte Carlo, cleaned out. You sent me £100 to join you in Italy. February 36, 250 lire. My share of fine to the Italian police. January 38, you were the big bestseller, the book of the year, Inside the Inside or something. I thought it stank, but didn't say so. Reward for reticence, $150 cash. Total 1,200 even. Okay?
Yeah, sure, if you say so. We don't use that stuff here.
Hey, Streeter! Streeter!
Don't want it.
Does this come in too? Leave it alone, that's my laundry.
They're quitting the service. You don't expect to see me again, do you?
What of it?
Oh, do you? Where is it this time?
China. 10 days and I shall be at work.
Why China?
Why, godforsaken rock in the middle of Lake Michigan. All it's good for is a toilet for gulls. You used to like people.
I still do. Why China?
You still do. That's why you live here, I suppose.
Why China?
No questions asked, no questions answered. Suppose we leave it at that.
So you're flying for the Chinese?
A job's a job. It pays better than delivering lighthouse inspectors.
Yeah, you aren't doing it for money.
Who says I'm not?
I'm doing it for money because you don't expect to come back.
I'll take a chance. What do you do with yourself when you feel lonesome?
Sit out here on the rocks and howl like a dog. I'm an aide to navigation. Ships take me for a foghorn. Why go all the way to China just to commit suicide? There's the runway out there. You go up and jump off. It's clean, quick, and efficient.
They need flyers, and I can fly.
Crusading?
You got me all wrong. I'm no crusader. All a Chinaman means to me is, did he starch my shirt when I told him not to? Japs, chinks, I don't give a damn.
Ideals. Now you can talk as cynical.
Ideals don't come into it.
Then why don't you fly for the Japanese?
Okay, you win.
You get the urge to do something decent, you have to start explaining it away. Come on, let's kill that bottle.
Lanning! Lanning! It's coming up rough over there. We better get moving.
Okay, 5 minutes.
We're in for a hell of a storm. You can't stand by and watch forever. Well, can you?
Nobody says you can.
The time comes when you got to do something.
You think the world's got an outside chance. No, I don't. I say the world's hell-bent for destruction.
I still say you can't stand by and watch.
Well, who says you've got to? Why come to that conclusion? You can't watch. You've got to get into it. Get out of it, you fathead.
So that's it. Sit on a rock in the middle of Lake Michigan, pick your nose, examine your navel. Call that getting out of it? Now take China.
All hands were lost, including Captain Joshua Stewart and 60 passengers, immigrants from the old world. To the memory of the sailing ship Land O'Lakes, my life is dedicated. I tell you, Street, it's good to live among hopeful people again.
What are you talking about?
Well, the first day I got here, I noticed that tablet. I started to compare the lives of those immigrants and ours. I found I liked theirs the better.
Well?
In 1849, the answer was easy. It was expansion. Go west, young men. And today, you look up the answer in the back of the book and you know what you find. A blank page. There's nowhere left to expand and nothing left to exploit. Except by war. And that's where the horror begins. Civilization's a lost cause, but it still has a job for a few of us.
Such as?
Keeping lighthouses.
You call that a job? What about the people who go off and fight? What about the women and children, the old men? They'll die off, I suppose.
I hope.
You hope?
For all humanity, I make one wish. Let the people die off fast.
You hypocrite.
Streeter, shut up.
You dirty, lying hypocrite.
I'm sorry. You better put some water on that lip. Alcohol's an antiseptic.
I say it is. You made a remark a few minutes ago. You said, it's good to live among hopeful people again.
That's right, it is.
But you live here by yourself.
In a way, I've escaped from a world I can't help. I'm building up one that I can.
What sort of a world?
Just a world with people, plain, ordinary people,
Where?
in my own head.
Trouble with Irish whiskey is you don't know you've been drinking till you're delirious.
Did you ever imagine people? Hell, 9/10 of the best remarks a man ever makes, he makes on his way home.
Yeah, but you said a world.
Yes, it's a very small world. I've got half a dozen people so far.
What people?
The Land O'Lakes. All hands were lost.
You mean ghosts?
I found the passenger list in the old logbook. But their names, where they came from, where they were bound, that's all. There's enough to work on.
You sound like the day before Genesis.
Half a dozen's all I can handle so far.
Yes, but thinking about people isn't living with them.
See them clearly enough, it is. Anyway, it works.
Now, wait a minute. Who do these people think you are?
Myself, the lightkeeper.
Now or then?
Then, 1849.
And they don't know they're dead.
Well, Captain Joshua does. I got so confused at first I had to tell somebody, so I told Joshua.
You mean there's a man in your mind who knows he's dead, who knows it's 90 years later, who knows he's just an idea in somebody else's mind?
That's right.
And you and he sit down and talk things over, and that's what you call clearing up confusion.
Yeah, I suppose it sounds pretty silly from where you're standing. I challenge anybody to say my world is sillier or more futile than the world I was born into.
Streeter?
In here.
Ready?
Coming. Well, I wish you luck, Charlie. I'll still take China.
Mankind's got one future, Street. In the past.
Don't let's argue. You think I must sap, I think you're a coward. I think the world's got an outside chance, you think it hasn't. That's all there is to it.
Oh, Charleston, I've got something for you. I know you never read books, but you might make an exception of this one. It's written by a fellow the same name as yourself. I picked it up in a drugstore for 35 cents. You wouldn't expect much of the price, but you ought to read it. It's good.
35 cents. Everything in order up there, Inspector?
As usual, reports in order, burners in order, lens in order, every darn thing's in order. You know, it's people like you put people like me in the ranks of the unemployed. Your relief will be along in a month.
What for?
Your leave, of course.
I told you before, I don't want any leave.
The government grant leave to all the keepers in the service for 26 days with pay.
Well, I'm happy to save the government's money.
The government doesn't want to save money. Not that way. You start your leave the first of the month.
Give up this ivory tower stuff, Charlie. It won't work. Build the goddamn thing out of stone. Put a light on it. Stick it in the middle of 100 miles of fresh water. It's still an ivory town. It still won't work. Why not come with me? Rear gunners are hard to get.
Time I was turning on the light.
Well, one of us is wrong. I hope to God it's you. Let me know if you change your mind. So long, Toots.
Good evening to you, Captain Joshua.
Good evening to you, Mr. Charleston. There's a deal of rain in the wind.
That's why they cleared off.
No more interruptions, I hope. They don't help.
We've a clear month, Captain.
Good. It's hard being reminded that we're such flesh and blood as can disappear like the mists in the morning.
Good thing the others don't know. Perhaps I better try some new people.
I think you'd do better to confine yourself to the same 6.
Sure, I've made them look right.
Oh, I've no complaint with their looks. It's their lack of substance I'm objecting to. Little better than ghosts they are.
What is it, then? The way they talk?
Maybe it's the way they think.
Perhaps you're right. Let's try again.
Aye, beginning with the baby.
Yes, I knew you liked that bit. There's something about babies always gets everybody. Briggs was having his supper. Millie called out, and he went upstairs.
She's in a bad way, Mr. Charleston. Have you seen Dr. Kurtz anywhere?
Out there somewhere.
Here, help me on with this.
Gee, these doctors. Give me a midwife any time.
Now, let me see. Hot water, towels, clean basin. Now, where's my bag?
Just you be taking it easy, my fine doctor. The Millie's calm enough, ain't she? If you've had 9, you can have 10. Go on with you.
Melanie, my instruments.
Go on with you.
While you're about it, couldn't you invent a manner of childbirth which creates a little less disturbance?
Melanie.
But he hasn't got any instruments. He told me to pack them, but I forgot.
Had you better go up and give him a hand?
Oh, I couldn't possibly do that. The whole thing makes me feel sick. Besides, I've got on my best dress. It's only the 2nd time I've worn it. Don't you like it, David?
I think it's very pretty.
But you haven't seen the bonnet yet. Wait till I fetch it.
You won't have me in there. How do you like that?
A father in labor. It's a pitiful sight.
Look, it was terribly expensive. It came from Italy.
How long have you been holding this annual celebration?
10 year. Most of them boys. The ones that's lived.
You've had a tough time.
Aye, I have that. But I'll be a rich man soon. Wait till I get to California. I'll be spitting out gold like pips out of cherries. Aye. And back to the potters I'll go, and them that has made me sweat for a few shillings a week, I'll spit in their faces.
Mr. Briggs, how dare you spit at me?
It wasn't meant for you, Miss Kirby.
You're contemptible. The doctor's wife told me. 9 already, 4 of them dead and 5 you can't support.
That's only jealousy, 'cause you've got none of your own.
God forbid.
Do you a lot more good than spouting about women's rights and that tomfoolery.
That's what I think.
Look, there's nothing to choose between any of you. You're all contemptible.
Hey, but she's got a sharp tongue. I wish she had me to deal with.
Mr. Briggs, you may come up now.
About time, Joe.
Oh, Mother has promised to give a party for me as soon as we get to Wisconsin. Don't you like me today, David?
Yes. Well, I do and I don't.
Ah, when do you don't? Melanie! Oh, here you are. Didn't you hear me call? No, Mother, I didn't hear you call.
I know. You never listen to me. You'd better change your dress, Melanie. It's much too flimsy. You'll catch your death.
But, Mama, I was so hot.
If I take the trouble to find out that it's cold, you might take the trouble to change now. Go. We can't risk getting a cold. I hope she didn't worry you, Mr. Charles.
That's all right, Mrs. Goods.
Feels lonely sometimes, huh? She had so many friends in Vienna. What a pity we didn't meet you before, Mr. Charleston. You would have liked our house. We always had guests, parties. Stefan had one of the best practices. Once we were even honored by a visit from His Highness, Archduke Karl. He stayed for nearly an hour. I'd completely forgotten about it just today. I happened to glance through my diary. I can show you the very page.
I believe you, Mrs. Coates.
House, garden. We used to drive a four in hand. Once we went to Paris. Mr. Charleston, can you see us living in Wisconsin? You are so kind.
You've made them silly and shallow.
Oh, what's got to do you?
These people weren't this way.
What way?
You wanted them true. Mr. Charleston, these skimpy, bickering shadows were not my passengers.
I'm the judge here, not you.
I'll not deny that.
Whether or not you're satisfied with these people, I am.
That you're not. If you're so satisfied, why do I say what I do? I make no move. I speak no word but comes not to your mind first.
Oh, what's wrong? They speak, they move, they even feel. What's lacking?
Courage, Mr. Charleston. Courage. That's what's lacking. Perhaps you're as afraid to face my people in my times as you are to face your own.
This is getting fantastic. A man in my own mind steps up and tells me off.
You lack courage, Mr. Charleston.
Perhaps that'll convince you.
Who's that?
Monsieur Bouchon. A man with an idea.
And just as we have outgrown the habit of swinging by our tails from tree to tree, so I dream of the day when we shall have evolved away from the idea of settling disputes by means of war.
In fact, you visualize a new form of international morality.
Certainly, Mr. Charleston. Mankind is capable of the highest forms of good. Here in Geneva, we are to see him growing the fruits of reason instead of the nettles of hate.
You really think we're strong enough?
Well, there are many devoted to us, but we do need the help of the newspapers, Mr. Charleston. This sort of thing is all very fine, but the future of the League depends not on palaces nor upon governments, but upon people all over the world taking a share in the responsibility for peace. And this is where you can help us. Millions of people read what you write. We look to you.
Ah, Monsieur Bouchon.
Oh, permit me to introduce Mr. Hiroiti, delegate from Japan, and one of our staunchest supporters, Mr. David Charleston.
How do you do?
Delighted, Mr. Charleston.
Monsieur Bouchon has just been telling me his ideas for putting war out of date.
Monsieur Bouchon is a great man and an inspiration to us all. The government of Japan is fully conscious of the vast possibilities which the League of Nations present for the cause of humanity. We stand on the threshold of a new era. Gentlemen, we can go forward without fear or anxiety. I give you my assurance that the League of Nations will not move. There are too many timid voices. I am satisfied that if we march into Manchukuo, neither Britain nor America will act.
What is it? Frontier, maybe a paper.
Iden attacca l'Italia! Giornali! Iden attacca l'Italia!
What did I tell you? Street, the balloon's gone up. Guido, read what that says there, will you?
At Geneva yesterday, Anthony Eden, British Foreign Secretary and arch enemy of fascism, demanded that the League impose sanctions against the legitimate development of the Italian Empire.
I only hope they've got the guts to go through with it.
We could do with a few more like Eden.
Well, we could do with one.
Now we shall get some fireworks from the old Duce.
Passport! Passport!
Qui sono quei due.
English.
Try objection.
Questi due sono inglesi.
You weren't talking English?
Sì, tutte e tre parlavano inglese. Questo qui ha detto che il duce scoppierà di rabbia. Questo ha detto che il duce ha bisogno di diversi idem per metterlo a posto.
You have insulted Duce.
Me? Never. He's magnificent. Careful.
We do not permit foreigners to insult the Duce.
Look here, I haven't insulted your confounded Duce.
Out, on the platform, all of you.
Well, give us a minute to get dressed.
Presto, at once.
He wants to get dressed first. I can vouch for him. Mr. Charleston is a well-known journalista from London.
So you are a friend of the English. Get out.
Su, andiamo.
Andiamo, let me get my things.
Andiamo. Su.
Ferma, per Dio!
Fermali, fermali. Su, ragazzi, correte, presto, presto. C'è bisogno di aiuto, presto, presto.
Fermali,
Adolfo, agua.
Okay, tell him again we've got to be at Innsbruck by 2:30.
And we're not taking this lying down. Tell him to hurry up that consul.
Ha detto che devono essere... I have understood, but it is not possible. They have insulted Il Duce. They have assaulted the police. Look, there is the evidence.
Oh, I'm sorry to drag you out so early, sir.
I've heard the story, Mr. Charleston.
Yes, but you haven't heard ours.
There can be no two sides to assaulting the police.
But that fellow started hustling me. We haven't done a thing.
Yes, so you say, but there are at least 7 responsible officers prepared to refute it.
Now, will you kindly...
I don't think you realize the delicacy of the present political situation, Mr. Charleston. I am satisfied of the facts, and as the chief of police is willing to accept a fine of 500 lira, I advise you to pay it and make no further trouble.
But he started it all.
Pay it, you are getting off lightly.
Silenzio, tacete, vedremo dopo voi, silenzio.
Oh, very well, then.
How to owe you my half?
You surprise me. What about our friend here?
I should advise you not to interest yourself just now in the affairs of Italian nationals.
Yes, but look here, he didn't do anything at all.
I think that is your train, Mr. Charleston. Arrivederci.
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 Arrivederci, signor.
Arrivederci.
Down Street.
Saint-Saëns? Whiskey? Well, David, you're looking very pensive today.
Right.
Yes, David, you're looking sad. Why, look how bad is Michel. How awful he looks. Do you think that woman let him down again?
Is that your trouble too, David?
No, my trouble's the little man with a bald head and grey beard. My editor.
Oh, your editor?
Don't you fellows ever worry about what's boiling up over in that direction?
Germany?
Yes, Germany. Well, it's bound to come.
David, don't be impossible. Fancy worrying about a war on a day like this.
You've seen the Maginot, David.
Yes, that's just the way they are in England. Complacent and comfortable. If anybody tries to scare them out of it, along comes that little bald man with the grey beard, slashes the article to pieces.
Why get excited? We have the Maginot, you have the Channel.
Yes, that's what they say in England, too. There'll always be a channel. So let's lie down and go to sleep.
Why worry about a war that may never happen?
What about going along to that little restaurant at the Ville d'Auvray this evening?
Oh, oui, allons là-bas.
You will come with us, David?
Thanks, sir. It'll have to be some other time. I'm going to try and make Le Bourget by 2:30. I'm going back to England today. Well, à bientôt. Let's hope.
That's a charge, Mr. Charleston, you'll find very difficult to substantiate.
Well, you've got the proof of your own eyes. I don't know what more you want. Look, this is what I wrote, and this is what you printed. Spain, Abyssinia, Austria, concentration camps, German rearmament, etc., etc. The whole sad story with facts and figures. That's what I saw, and that is what you say I saw. And the two things don't match up, that's all. You can't ask more than that.
We didn't ask you to come here at all, Mr. Charleston. We managed up to now to conduct our meetings with some semblance of dignity.
Once we can dispense with your conference table technique, Mr. Wilson.
Well, I must say, I think you're a very rude young man.
Now, look, let's forget about being pleasant to one another for 5 minutes, shall we? The point is, do you want your readers to know the truth or don't you?
Yes, but what is truth, Charleston? Who's to be the judge? I think I may say that our readers are perfectly satisfied we give them the truth. Our circulation has reached 1,300,000, and for the first time in our history.
Your view of the truth happens to be coloured by left-wing spectacles. That's a sort of colour that our readers don't care for.
My view of the truth is simply that the people of this country have got to be shown what fascism means and what it stands for. If you look at it simply from the point of view of self-interest and safety first, well, it's anti-British. If you look at it from the point of view of freedom and fair play, well, it's dangerous. And in any case, it's got to be stopped.
The fascist nations are young, Charleston. Like puppies. They bark a lot, but they won't bite.
Now, listen, I've seen a very great deal more of them than you have, and I say that unless we make a stand now, we're simply handing the British Empire over on a plate, and there's a very nasty word for that. What?
Hey, sit here calling us traitors?
If you persist in your present policy, that is exactly what you are.
Well,
all right. I'm going. You can get somebody else to write the sort of lies you want to print. Fortunately, there are other ways of reaching the people than through your newspaper. And when this whole thing blows up, I wouldn't like to have on my conscience what you're going to have on yours.
Well...
Pay lip service to Abraham Lincoln and quote his prayer that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, might never perish from the earth. Well, I say to you that we are nearer to it perishing from the earth today than ever before. That is what I've tried to say in my newspaper for the past 10 years. It's what I said on the radio and in my book. It's what I say to you again here tonight. And it is what we must all realize before it is too late. If freedom is to be preserved, if real peace is to be saved, we must each one of us accept our own responsibilities as citizens. We can no longer leave those responsibilities to governments, just as we can no longer leave the outer defenses of freedom to other and smaller nations. Clear your minds. Look around you and see the truth. And when that hideous truth stares you in the face, act. Go out after it, all of us, together. And let us not rest until we have hunted it and killed it and wiped the trace of it from the earth.
I am sure we're all very grateful to Mr. Charleston for his speech tonight. The meeting is now closed.
It's quite right what he says, you know.
Mr. Charleston say that we can do anything.
Still, someone ought to do something about it.
Oh, it makes me sick, all this talk about war.
Well, this been all about the countries he's visited. Shows how the world's drifting towards war.
War? Oh, I don't approve of war. Come along with us.
Mr. Charleston's book, Report from Inside. Mr. Charleston's book, Report from Inside.
First picture. Full story of the German advance. All the latest news reels. Popeye. Jazz on the Wheel. Latest sports shorts and travelogues. Nazi tanks enter Sudetenland. First pictures. Full story of the German advance. Seats at 9pence and 6pence. All the latest news reels. Short sports and travelogues. Nazi tanks enter Sudetenland. All the latest pictures.
Off the map of Europe, the impressive mechanical might of a new kind of army is rolling across the borders of Sudetenland from Nazi Germany, amid wild bursts of howls from the German minority, amid a puzzled and uneasy silence from the Czech people who watch this menacing outcome of the days of tension. In Prague, Britain's Lord Runciman has been acting as unofficial mediator between the Czechoslovak government and the Sudeten German party, but it's rather like a man attempting to interfere in a difference between husband and wife. That this is overwhelming tragedy for many of them, never doubt. Look at those faces among the crowd. Some excited, yes, but there are tears too. Tears which they try desperately to conceal. When the stormtroopers go marching by, it's dangerous to look unhappy. Across the other side of the world, there are Japanese bombs raining upon the Chinese city of Canton. This advance in Europe has been so far accomplished without bloodshed. But all the panoply of war is here nonetheless. The guns, the tanks, the grim, humorless faces of the German soldiers beneath their steel helmets. Yes, there's all the machinery of battle, though not a shot has been fired. So the newsreel unfolds before you, a living chapter of modern European history, events that may change the whole course of our lives in Britain. In the past few months, crisis has followed crisis. The French fleet is calling up reservists. Britain has adopted precautionary measures and her navy is ready. Our statesmen are working to keep the peace, and we have the word of the German government that Germany intends to preserve peace. But history shows that the man who lights the fuse isn't always able to put it out before the explosion.
Well, the man who wrote that book might well have the courage to face my people and my times. You must try again, Mr. Charleston. You made a mistake tonight. A few minutes you wasted on a wrong tack. But it's in your power to correct those mistakes. Why, in this little world you've made, the tick of the clock belongs to you. Have courage, Mr. Charleston. Turn back the clock and try again. My passenger, Mr. Briggs now, he came skeetering down the stairs, moving heaven and earth for the doctor. Turn back the clock to that moment and let's see how my passengers really were.
Dr. Kurtz. Where's Dr. Kurtz? It's out there somewhere. Dr. Kurtz!
Yeah, just the way he was. Scared to death and white as a china cup.
What the hell am I in for?
The truth, Mr. Charleston. You can help my passengers. For them, the future is a fearful thing, full of dangers and uncertainty. But for you, it's a page in a history book. Help them, Mr. Charleston. Search out their troubled souls and give them the strength they need. Give them hope.
Now the brush.
The devil clawing of my Millie's goods. And you have to make yourself look pretty.
It is important that I should be clean.
Maybe to you.
Not to me, to the patient. No, you wait here.
I'm the man of the show, all right. Got so many children, I don't know what to do. Just don't be looking at me, gentlemen. I'm no rooster strutting. When a man's waiting his firstborn, he wants notice taken of him. But a man waiting his 10th born, he ain't so cocky. Just don't be looking at me, gentlemen. It's a blowy night.
Aye. Oh, bear up, man. Why, I dare say he'll be born strong and healthy, the spitting image.
The spitting image of me. With half a lung, maybe. Well, tell of them as went to California with fever in the lung, and lo and behold, they was cured. Tell me, Captain, you're a wise and educated man. Would that be the truth?
It might well be.
Rich they got. And cured, too.
Aye.
If I get rich and strong, I'll send for the young ones from England. I'll buy 'em back. I'll be that rich. I'll send 'em to school. Do you hear that? To school. I'll never grow up no ignorant man like me, but wise and educated. Millie. And the baby. And all them mountains and deserts to cross. What'll we do? All we ever get.
Man.
Mr. Briggs, please tell your wife I'm thinking of her. I'm praying it won't be a girl.
Well, your prayer will likely be answered. Mrs. Briggs has a tendency towards boys.
I suppose I seem a silly old maid to you, don't I?
Oh?
Just a stupid, man-hating spinster. Women are useless fools, that's all. The harder we struggle against our fate, the more useless and foolish we become. Now that I'm 40, I understand that I've wasted my life and it's almost too late.
Too late for what? What are you going to do?
There's a colony in a western wilderness, Salt Lake City.
But, Miss Kirby, you...
I like the idea no better than you. But a man of the Mormon religion who has prettier faces to look at will forgive my ugliness.
Yes, but why? Why? Go out and talk to her.
I?
Oh, you're a woman. You could reason with her.
What could I tell her?
Well, Anne-Marie, she'd be a fourth wife, a fifth wife.
Yes, of course.
You simply accept it.
Can't we talk about Paris? Always when things are so complicated, I like to think about Paris. And when I was a girl and gay, and when we didn't understand, and we didn't travel to try. Can't we think about Paris, Mr. Charleston?
Mother, Mrs. Briggs is not doing so well.
Why did you come to America? Now listen, I've got to know this. Was it because Stephen Kurtz was looking for new opportunities, or was it, like Miss Kirby, you're running away? Well, if you won't tell me, I must ask Melanie. She's not afraid of the truth. Melanie, why did you leave Vienna?
It was all very complicated. You can't understand. Stefan was very successful, you see. He had a marvelous position. People envied him.
People hated him.
Melanie!
I'm not ashamed, Mother. We left Vienna because they hated Father.
Hate him? Why do they hate him?
Because they were afraid of him. People are such fools. Perhaps one day it'll be different.
What are they afraid of?
Mrs. Briggs.
What's happened?
It is a pity.
Baby, too?
Both, Papa?
She had no strength.
Perhaps it's a blessing.
How can you be so cruel?
Yes, when I was a girl, I could have a child and be happy. And be happy for other women, too, because they had children. But now, I must consider.
Consider what?
As a child to be happy.
I called you cruel. Forgive me.
Do you call it a blessing, too?
It might have been a girl.
Yes, David, she's right. I'm glad, too.
No, Melanie, no, you don't feel like that.
Yes, I'm glad. Two ignorant people lie dead. And there's just that much less ignorance in the world tonight.
Ray!
It's that same ignorance that put a stop to Papa's work.
Quiet, child.
A woman and her baby are dead. Isn't there anyone here that's sorry?
You better have a little whiskey, Mr. Briggs.
Thanks. I'm no drinking man.
You'll catch your death of cold.
It's God's will. She's waiting for me. And it wouldn't do to keep her waiting long.
Don't you think he's suffered enough in the old world?
I wanted the truth, Captain.
Aye, and we will have it. You've shown me your past. Now take a look at theirs. Will you follow me, Mr. Charleston?
Briggs is out.
How do you know?
Didn't you notice Gaffney? He took his name down.
Oh, I don't like that cough.
Yeah, that's about the size of it. How you feeling, mate?
Oh, I'm all right, Tom. You want to wrap that chest up, you know. That's your weak spot.
Hello, Minnie.
Harry's here, Ted.
Harry?
Yes, he has it all fixed up. Be nice to him now.
We've got a visitor.
Well, Harry, who'd have thought of finding you here? How you going?
Oh, I'm all right. How's yourself? Still working for other people?
You can't all be as lucky as you. Gaffney was only saying the other day. Your brother-in-law's done pretty well for himself, he said.
He's got a surprise for us, Ted.
Oh, I've fixed everything up, Ted. You sail on the 19th. I've got the tickets here. 2 in 1. And you'd best put them away somewhere for safety. Now, you go from Liverpool by ship to a place called Rochester. And up above there, there's a sort of a waterfall called Niagara, some such place. And as a ship can't get up it, you've got to go round by coach. I've got a plan here somewhere. The clerk in the office drawed it out for me. Aye, here we are. Now, see, the coach takes you round to this bit here to a place called Buffalo, where you get on another ship that takes you right through all them there lakes to a place called Milwaukee, where you get on a train somewhere about here, and when you get off that, you're in California.
California?
Don't touch.
I'm doing this for her sake, you know. They say there's some wonderful sunshine there and plenty to eat and as much gold as you can stuff in your pockets.
We'll pay you back, Harry, as soon as we get to start. How far is it?
Nearer 7,000 miles than 6, and the clerk in the office told me that you could put the whole of England in one of them there lakes and lose it.
You'd never believe it, would you?
We'll have to do something about the youngsters.
Oh, I've seen all about that. Maggie and me'll take 3 of them, and one of my customers will take the others. Mind you, they'll have to work, but that never hurt no one.
I like work.
That's the idea, lass. That's the way to get on. Young Jackie can give me a hand in the shop, setting the rat traps and sweeping around a bit, and Joan can help Maggie with the house.
You're going to stay with your Uncle Harry. You'll like that, won't you?
I'd sooner go with you and Dad.
Well, I'll be getting back. I'll call round for the youngsters next Friday. How will that suit?
Well, that'll suit fine.
Right. Here. You'll get a chance out there, and maybe it'll set her on her feet once and for all. So long. And don't worry about the youngsters. Maggie, look after them all right.
Goodbye, Harry.
I'll keep an eye on them, Mother.
That's all, Mr. Charleston. 6 weeks later, they boarded my ship.
What about Miss Kirby?
She had her reasons.
Did not finish that waltz. I'm just getting up steam.
What a handsome couple they make. It's a perfect match. You know, he'll probably inherit his grandfather's estate.
Well, my love, what's the mystery?
Robert, it's something very serious.
Fire away. Don't keep me in suspense.
I I want to give this back to you.
Whatever for?
I don't think we should be happy together.
My dear, you're being completely absurd.
I was never more serious in my life.
You're talking nonsense.
Robert, this isn't easy for me. One half of me longs to be married to you, to have a home and children. When I gave you my promise, I had no other thought.
Well, then.
But lately, I've come to realize that I could only marry on certain conditions, to which I know you'd never agree.
Conditions? What sort of conditions?
Well, first of all, that I should be free to follow a career of some sort, besides that of a mother.
A career?
Yes. To do something useful. To be a doctor, or a teacher, or perhaps to write.
Have you taken leave of your senses? Write what?
Oh, I don't know exactly, but something that will make our half of the world realize how the other half is living. Like Mary Wollstonecraft.
Ellen, this is nonsense. What do you think people would say? I should never hear the last of it. Making yourself a laughing stock.
Oh, you see, Robert, it is right that we should break it off now.
Might I ask why I haven't known about this before?
Because it's only very slowly that I've come to realize it myself. By things I've heard, things I've read, from seeing the way that women are treated.
It's going to make things devilish awkward for me.
Oh, Robert, you can tell everyone it was you who broke it off. I don't mind.
I'm not worrying about that. As a matter of fact, your father advanced me some money on the strength of our engagement.
You mean you borrowed money with me as security?
You can't put it like that. The settlement has been drawn up. We all know where we stand. In a month or so, what's the difference?
I think you had better go home.
Ellen! Did you see how she was blushing?
Why, Robert, where the devil are you off to?
I was just going off home, sir.
Home? Why, it's early yet.
I know, sir, but as a matter of fact, Ellen and I, we've...
Well?
Well, sir, she's given me the ring back.
Whatever possessed her to do that?
Ellen seems to have some queer idea about earning her own living, sir.
What ridiculous rubbish. Who's been putting this nonsense into her head?
Well, I gather she's been reading some rather questionable books, sir.
Books? You haven't a book in the house. What sort of books?
I don't know. Mary Wollstonecraft, some of that kidney. I'm afraid we quarreled about it.
Here, you leave this to me, my boy. I'll soon have this straightened out. Smoke one of these on your way home.
Well, thank you, sir.
You leave it to me. I'll soon bring her to heel.
Yes, sir. Well, good night, sir.
Good night, my boy. Good night. Books. Plea for Women by
Mrs. You read. A vindication of the rights of woman. I'm
What are you doing?
doing. I should like to ask you what you've been doing.
Please give that to me.
I shall do no such thing. They're all going on the kitchen fire.
But they don't belong to you, Papa. They belong to me.
And who do you belong to, may I ask? To whom do you owe everything that you are, everything that you possess, and everything that you hope to be?
Give me that book, Papa. You have no right to be in this room.
Right? How dare you speak to your father like that, madam? There's your precious book.
Papa! Papa, if you don't stop at once, I shall leave the house tonight.
These dangerous ideas about the supposed subjection of women, which you have taken it on yourself to translate into action, and which you must have known very well would lead to a breach of the peace. In the circumstances, I have no alternative but to send you to prison for 28 days.
And as this is by no means your first offense, you will go to prison for 6 calendar months.
No, my lord. Neither my first sentence, nor my second, nor my third have been able to shake my resolution that the purpose for which I am working is right.
That is no answer to the very serious charge of inciting people to riot.
I have answered to the best of my ability. The working hours were more than those young women could support, and the conditions were altogether inhuman.
The law has laid down the hours and conditions of work. I suppose before long we shall have to have women in Parliament to alter our laws for us. Until that time, we must abide by them. You will go to prison for 18 calendar months.
Terrible record for a young woman who has some pretensions to birth and breeding. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Work people of this town were quite content until you came and upset them.
Content? My lord, a girl of 16, just coming to maturity, to crawl half naked through the dark tunnels in the bowels of the earth, chained to a heavy truck loaded with coal, seldom seeing the light of day, and doing work that you would not think of putting your horse to do. Can that be called contentment?
The authorities have quite enough on their hands these troubled times, without strangers coming into the district to aggravate the situation. It leaves me no alternative but to sentence you to 3 years' penal servitude.
My lord, I protest against this savage sentence. I know why it is given me. It's only because the day will come when women will be free.
Someday women will earn their living and be more than an object of pity. Some day after supper, when the dishes are cleared away, women will... Women will what?
We'll sit with the men in the parlor and all talk together of the world's affairs. That day will come.
Shut up. Here. You get caught doing that, and they'll make you serve your full sentence.
What are you going to do, dearie, when you get out of here? I don't know yet. I don't know.
You give up this agitation. You'll never be no good at it, and you've been here long enough.
Never mind, dearie. It's only a few more days now.
Ellen.
You must forgive me for coming here, Robert. But I had no one else to turn to.
Oh, that's all right. Here, come and sit down. Let me get you something hot to drink.
No, thank you.
It's no trouble.
I won't keep you for more than a few minutes. Robert, I want to go to America.
America?
Yes. There's a boat leaving from Liverpool next Tuesday. I should like to go on that. As I say, I had no one else to turn to.
Yes, of course. Have you any idea how much?
£75. That will take me the whole way. I'm afraid it's rather a lot.
No, no.
Very good of you, Robert. Thank you.
Not at all. Not another word.
I couldn't help noticing the picture of the children.
Oh, yes. They're getting quite grown up now.
You must be very happy.
You sure you won't have anything?
Quite sure, thank you.
You can't possibly go out in this.
Oh, don't worry, Robert. Thank you.
What part of America are you going to?
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City?
You'll find Kurtz down there.
You coming?
I think you can manage without me. I'll be having a smoke.
Will you drink that, Sherlock? You'll soon feel better.
Thank you, Doctor.
And see me tomorrow at the same time. I'll have some medicine ready for you.
Thank you.
Papa, Miss Harmer's much worse. They say, can you come at once?
Melanie, there's nothing I can do. She's too weak to survive an operation.
You could use your...
Melanie, I cannot use a drug. After all that trouble last time.
Papa, you must. She's in such pain.
Melanie, it is...
You can't let her go on suffering because of other people's ignorance. Please, Papa.
I'm extremely sorry. Someone is very ill. It's a grave case. If you wouldn't mind waiting a while, I can see you presently. Maybe an hour. I'm very sorry indeed. I'll see you as quick as I can.
Stefan! You are going to Miss Harmer?
I am.
To put her to sleep again?
It is possible.
She's in such pain, Mother.
Don't, Stefan. I implore you, don't do it. You know what the Academy have said.
Yes, I know, my dear. Come, Melanie.
Dr. Kurtz.
Mrs. Harmer, will you get me some hot water as quickly as you can, please? Good afternoon, Father.
She's near the end, Doctor.
There's only one hope. An operation.
Can she withstand the pain?
She will feel no pain.
You do not intend to use that sleeping mixture of yours, Doctor?
It's the only chance of saving her life. It's a very slender one. But without it, there would be no chance at all.
If God had intended us to escape pain, he would have provided the means.
Yes.
That is blasphemy, Dr. Kurtz. I beg you will not use these methods.
I have a duty.
I also have a duty.
First principles and vital to the whole profession. Once again, you used this vapor in order to induce a state of insensibility.
In this case, it was the only possible cause.
You could have given her alcohol in the orthodox fashion.
Yes, I could have stunned her. But I consider my method a great improvement on those you call orthodox. I can control the unconsciousness. There's little after effect.
This is all beside the point. The fact remains, Kurtz. The woman died.
To none of your patients ever die, Dr. Hartmann.
Gentlemen, we shall be here until midnight unless we are briefed. Dr. Kurtz has a distinguished record.
We do not desire any scandal, but these unprofessional experiments will have to cease if he wishes to continue practicing in Vienna. You will please let us know your decision by tomorrow midday. We intend to take no action until then.
Very well.
Must you go on playing? It's driving me mad.
I'm only playing to prevent myself from going mad.
It's more than 3 hours.
I told him he shouldn't do it. He will never listen. Do you remember I told him?
He had to do it. He was doing what is right.
Our friends avoid us. Servants leave. People look away in the street.
Must you always worry about what other people think?
You will one day. You'll be unhappy. We all shall be unhappy. The world is so lovely to live in, if only we... Papa, what did they say? You look tired. Have a glass of sherry. I'm so sorry, Stefan. All the servants have left us. I can't remember where we keep the sherry. Forget it, dear. We all must try and forget it.
Why do you do this? Isn't there anyone who has the courage to come forward and speak? I am waiting.
Come on, Hans, give it to him.
Speak up, Hans.
You killed my sister! Bagatelle with that liquid.
Do you want to suffer pain? Haven't you enough misery in your lives?
We'll give you till tomorrow night to get out of Vienna. You and the girl.
Don't be a fool, Hans.
Lock the shutters. They're drunk. They've gone mad.
You can't get round us. If you haven't cleared out, we'll tear the place down and set light to it.
Anything else to say?
Yes.
Nothing, I'm all right.
I can't bear it. I can't. I can't feel anything.
You're lucky. Just missed the eye. We'll be leaving you.
Good evening, folks. And how is Mrs. Briggs tonight, huh?
She's a bit better tonight, I think, Captain.
Ah, that's fine. Fine, that's fine. Good evening. Good evening. Ah, here's a fine little man. Good evening. Ah, good evening, Doctor. Good evening, ma'am. Miss Melanie. A word with you, Doctor. We may be having a little blow tonight. I'll be asking maybe for a little assistance later on.
Certainly, Captain. We've been through many storms on the sea already.
Well, we can show you quite a breeze on the lakes, Doctor. She may be jumping around a little.
Would you like a cup of coffee, Captain?
Oh, no, thank you. I have to be getting up a lot.
So you're all running away.
David. What's the matter, David?
I tell you, you're all running away. Briggs, Miss Kirby, Coates, all of you.
Mr. Charleston, What makes you say that?
Kurtz, you are running away, aren't you?
Yes, David. We are running away.
This is only 1849. How can you give up so soon?
It is 1,849 years since hope was at its highest. Is that so soon?
Yes.
No. God has given up the struggle.
Kurtz, you're wrong.
Am I? Yet the world grows dark, and light men and justice shrink like little rivers when there is no rain. God looks down, but he's no longer the God of mercy. He sees us now fleeing across oceans and continents, deserting our fatherlands and all our deepest dreams. The triumph of science, the progress of education, equality of men and women. These are the banners we leave on the field. He sees us now groping about in an alien land for all the second prizes. Wealth, security, peace of mind. No, David. We who had large hopes found a world too full of small people.
Stefan Kurtz. In England tonight, there's a man working in his study. His name is Darwin. Charles Darwin.
A kinsman of Erasmus Darwin.
A grandson, a biologist. In Paris, working in your own profession, Louis Pasteur.
These are the lesser people.
Miss Kirby. In your own London, Florence Nightingale. A woman after your own heart. If only you'd hung on a few more years. And in America, well, not a few hundred miles away from here, a young lawyer, Abraham Lincoln. Kurtz, continue the work you gave up in Vienna.
My work is finished.
But you left it unfinished. Stick to your guns, man. For God's sake, stick to your guns. Men live among you today who will be the leaders you despair of finding.
You are young and optimistic.
This isn't optimism. I know.
I also knew when I was young.
Have the vision to look ahead. See a world where science is a new religion. See America, your adopted land, where the poor go to school with the rich. See women sitting in the Houses of Commons and in the Senate of the United States.
He's mad, Papa, the way he talks.
Mr. Charleston is not mad because he speaks in prophecy. He is merely wrong.
I'm neither wrong nor mad. I tell you that in less than a century, every single thing you despair of will have been accomplished.
For thousands of years, men struggle. Now you ask us to believe that in less than a century?
I do. In the space of a child's lifetime. That child upstairs, if it had lived.
I appeal to your reason.
I appeal to your faith.
Faith. Blind faith. You, a young and inexperienced man, living alone in a lighthouse, in the middle of the American wilderness, ask us to deny the experience of our lifetime? You ask too much.
Listen. I know, I tell you. I know. And I can't help you.
Why do you say you know? What makes you so sure?
How can you know?
All right. You asked for it. Where's Briggs?
He's still up aloft. What do you want with him?
Briggs. Hey, Briggs!
Why do you look at us like that?
Someone calling me?
Yes. Come on down.
Stefan.
Quiet.
I thought I heard a dog whining.
Papa, I'm frightened.
Funny. There's no dog on the island.
Now listen, all of you.
Be careful, Mr. Charleston.
What good is your world to me if I can't be of good to it?
I warn you.
I know what I'm doing. It all happened 90 years ago. The land of lakes was lost with all hands. You exist in my mind. In my mind only.
What is he saying? He's mad.
You mean we are dead?
Stop that.
He's insane.
Do you understand?
I take my own pulse. It beats.
Only because I think it beats. You exist in my mind.
My lungs fill with air. This is more than you're thinking.
Hey, Mr. Charleston, you gave me a smacking fright for a minute.
Joshua, tell them what I say is true.
I'm telling them nothing. I warned you.
There's only one other way, Captain. You know what that is?
You've done enough for one evening, Mr. Charleston. I advise you to leave well alone.
Over on that wall, Captain Joshua, there's a memorial tablet. The memorial tablet is dedicated to you. Read it them, Joshua.
I will not.
I'll read it.
No, Melanie.
Read it.
On the night of May 16th, 1849, the packet Land O'Lakes out of Buffalo, bound for Milwaukee, encountered a northwest gale. 800 yards north of this spot, she struck a reef and foundered. All hands were lost, including Captain Joshua Stewart and 60 passengers, immigrants from the old world. No!
Why did you do this to us?
I wanted to prove to you that you'd run away too soon. But you needn't have run away at all. You understand, this is 1939. 90 years have passed, and all your problems have been solved.
You have just proved to us that we are dead. It is a heavy responsibility.
I wanted to help you.
What good is our future to us when you show us a road we can no longer tread? Have you only been using us to help yourself?
Yes.
Mr. Charleston, what help is it you need?
A human being is a problem in search of a solution. You were the solution of my problem. You were the common sense, decent world I created when I saw my own was heading for destruction.
Why do you say destruction?
Because war is coming. World war. And this time it means the destruction of civilization.
Merely war?
Merely war.
Mr. Charleston, I fought on the field of Austerlitz and saw my fatherland vanquished. That was not the end of civilization.
Modern warfare compared to the field of Austerlitz. Deliver me.
Is that why you live here in solitude? After having told us that we should have stuck to our guns.
And that I, an old woman, gave up too soon.
Go ahead, call me a coward.
Aye, that we do.
No. As people who once ran away, how can we accuse him of cowardice?
You're all of you wasting your time.
We accuse you of something worse. Stupidity. You have the example of our lives, of our experience. You are a traitor to your own intelligence.
This has gone far enough. I dismiss you all. Go on. Get out of my mind. All of you. I told you, get out of my mind. God damn it, I brought you here. Don't you know when you're not wanted? Miss Kirby, Kurtz, I told you to go.
You wanted us true, Mr. Charleston, and you got what you wanted. I warned you. You can no more dismiss us now than you can tear a single page out of the history book and say it never happened. You can no more escape us than you can escape yourself.
Because we are yourself. We no longer have the power to act in our own lives, so now we act in yours.
What do you want of me?
What do you want of yourself?
A logical, reasonable basis for believing that the world's got a future.
You've had the imagination to see us living again in your mind. Have the imagination to see yourself dead 90 years, living again in another man's mind.
See yourself as you've seen us, deserting our work too soon.
But today we're up against the inevitable.
So where were we thought?
I can't explain.
Because you have no defense.
Papa tries to help you, David. Please give him a chance.
All he's asking of me is the same old thing, faith. Blind faith.
No, I do not. You wanted something to believe in? You have it.
Listen to him, David.
Mr. Charleston, if I had continued my work in Vienna, what would have been the result?
You'd had anesthetics a few years sooner than we did, that's all.
Exactly. Whether or not I gave up, the problem would have been solved. It was in my power to solve it sooner. And I failed.
Well?
Who were all those young men you told me of? The grandson of Erasmus Darwin? What did he do?
Evolution. He developed a new theory of life.
What if he had given up? Would the theory still be unknown?
No.
No. Someone else would have discovered it. Later. The young American lawyer. What was his name?
Lincoln.
What did he do?
He ended American slavery.
Would America still have slavery had it not been for Lincoln?
No.
No. Someone else would have ended it. Later. Don't you understand, David? There is no obstacle to civilization that cannot be pushed aside if only mankind has the will.
All right. Suppose the world's got a future. Where do we go from there? The first problem we face today is war.
You have reason to believe that wars will cease someday.
Someday.
The problem is difficult.
Difficult? Is there any man living with the intelligence to see his way through, or the guts to lead the way?
Only tonight, or was it 90 years ago, I too cried aloud for leadership and failed to look to myself.
From your own book, you proved to me that every man must accept his share of the world's responsibility.
Yes, I thought that was true then.
Is it any the less true today?
Could... Joshua.
Once I deserted my duty.
But now our duty is clear. We could go on living with you here, but we choose to go back into the darkness. Upon one condition.
Go on.
When we are assured that you will stand and fight, as we never did, for whatever it is your world needs, then, and then only, will we leave you in peace.
Courage, Mr. Charleston.
Please, David, for all our sakes. David.
On the strength of our faith in you, David, we go out of this door. We die again. Are you ready, my dear? You're not afraid?
No.
My passengers, I ask you one favor. May I take the lead?
Captain.
I wish you luck, Mr. Charleston.
And I.
And me, Mr. Charleston.
Goodbye, David.
Goodbye, Melanie.
I envy the girl you're going to meet one day. Will you tell her something?
What shall I tell her, Melanie?
Only that I envy her. I envy all the living. Their eyes to see with, and their world to look at, even if it's a world that's not very nice. I envy their right to roll up their sleeves, their right to work, and their right to fight. for what they believe to be true. Goodbye, dear.